It was renowned cultural anthropologist Margaret Mead who said the young, free to act on their initiative, can lead their elders in the direction of the unknown. How does that happen? Some might say it begins with young people sharing their perspectives on the issues splashed across news headlines. But over at WAYO Radio's Fresh Perspectives program, the teens driving that show say it also involves celebrating and highlighting their peers while starting a dialogue that impacts their community. Joining me to share more is Fresh Perspectives radio host Nazir James and Jay Long and show producer Wendy Lowe. Welcome to all of you and thank you for being here.
Hi, yes.
So just to get started, Jay, Nazir, tell me, in your own words, describe what is the Fresh Perspectives program all about?
Okay, so on Fresh Perspectives, sometimes we interview local teens in the area from various places. Recently, we had some kids from East High read some of their short stories, which was really cool, you know? Sometimes when we can't get any guests, Wendy and I will sometimes just talk about recent issues that are happening in the country, you know? When the Parkland shootings first happened, we talked a lot about those, and, you know, we're still talking about that, of course. Recent events in Rochester, I will admit, I've only just moved to Rochester, so I'm kind of not in the know about how all of this works sometimes.
Right.
But it's interesting to hear and to be able to give my own perspectives on someone who's new to the area and someone who has lived in very different places from Rochester. I just came from Birmingham, which is in Alabama, for those of you who don't know, and I was born in Dayton. So we discuss important issues in not only our community, but in the national community.
And Nazir, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, well, Jay pretty much, she wrapped it up for us because, like, it's...
So you say young people, I'm gonna kind of...
Just a nice variety of topics. I'm going to backtrack for just a moment because, Wendy, I understand the team at WAYO approached you and essentially said in so many words, come up with a radio show idea. Talk about why a show run by teens, driven by teens. Why was that important for you?
Well, basically they were asking everybody to come up with radio shows, and I know some of the people over there. They're a wonderful crew of people, by the way. And I thought, well, you know, I teach teens creative writing in the summers at Writers and Books, and I love what teens come up with. And my son went to school with Nazir and is only 19 himself. I just like being around young people because they always shift my perspective, and it was important to me that teens have an opportunity to talk to the community about what concerns them. I find they're dealing with different things than we did.
Right.
We don't know. We're always telling them what to do, how to handle this, I find that today's world has completely different issues than the ones I grew up with. Of course, there's certain human issues that are the same all across.
Nazir, I saw you nodding when you said in terms of shifting perspectives, and Wendy mentioned, you know, teens share different things than I've dealt with when you were growing up. What are some of those things?
Well, like Wendy said, times change, but us as humans, we have some of the same issues where, you know, there'll always be violence amongst us. There will always be, you know, problems, but I feel like, you know, if the older generation could, you know, guide us a bit better and, you know, understand that, you know, times are different, then we can have a better understanding. But, you know, for the first time, I feel like we have our own voice, we have our own outlet outside of, you know, the typical music and stuff like this. Like, this is something cool to me. This is very pizzazz for me. I like this.
I want to dig into some of the things that you've talked about on the show just a bit. One thing Wendy mentioned to me in advance was school environment. It was a topic that you discussed on the show, and how some teens have described their school environment as something like a prison. The school feels like talk about that. What do you mean? Some viewers will be surprised to hear you say that.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much I can personally talk about that because currently in Rochester, I go to the Harley School, which is a very open environment and it's very nice and free. But back in Alabama, I went to the Alabama School of Fine Arts, which was a fine arts school. And it was nice, I guess, but the building was concrete and they had a courtyard, but it was gated off. And when we drove by it, we always joked, oh man, here we are at prison. You know, because people are so scared about what might happen in schools, especially schools in inner city areas. Rochester was in the heart of, Rochester was in the heart of Birmingham. The Alabama School of Fine Arts was in the heart of Birmingham. There's always worry about in cities, you know, if it can happen in a place like Parkland, which, as far as I understand, is kind of in the suburbs and the such. It's like, who knows what could happen in the cities? And I know that in inner city schools in Rochester, there are metal detectors at the door, and when people are greeted, they aren't greeted warmly with a smile like, "Hi, welcome to school." It's like, "Hey, go through the detector, and otherwise, if you don't, we're gonna be like, "Wah."
Like you're at an airport or something. And it's kind of difficult because I have a totally different understanding. I went to Word of Inquiry. I graduated from Word of Inquiry. I had been there all 13 years of my educational purposes, and it was a very warm environment at 58. It felt like family. Even now looking back, I dislike being in the environment because, you know, you have to go there, you have to wake up, go there, learn, do this, that, and the third every day. But looking back, it's kind of like, well, the teachers had to do it as well. Yeah. And, you know, it was a really good school and make you feel really loved.
When you discuss issues like this, okay, so school environment, you discussed Parkland, you were on the air talking about that, a variety of other topics that some are concerning topics for you and for your peers. Is the idea then to create a platform to talk about it, to vent, or is it about trying to create change, making sure the audience hears so that maybe change can take place?
I think it's a bit of both, you know. I think that people on Fresh Perspectives need a place to sometimes talk about how they feel. You know, this is in this technological world where we can get information at literally just the tap of a finger, we're exposed to a lot more than, you know, even my mom as a child or you as a child ever really had to deal with. And sometimes you do need a place to just get that out and really express how it's heavy, it's wearing, but also to be able to express it and maybe inspire someone to listen and go, maybe I can do something about that. I think that's really important. We as people, the best thing we can do is inspire others to be better. And if there's enough people moving to make a change, then that change will happen.
I want you to hold that thought. I just want to get to you for 1 second, Wendy, because I know it's important for you as the producer. It's important for you to step back and let the young people drive this. How do you find that balance in terms of producing, but also allowing them to run the show?
Well, it's hard to keep me from talking.
It is.
I'm a talker, but there were days when I had somebody who could work the board, and I could just sit in the back and not even be on a mic. When I'm working the board, the mic's right there. It's very tempting, but basically, you know, the hosts ask the questions, and sometimes I can't help myself. I can't bite my tongue.
You have to jump in.
I have to ask a follow-up question.
It's really natural.
Yeah,
so
it's a natural conversation.
Yeah, it's not. We have an intro script and everything, but otherwise, it's generally, you know, if we have someone on air, Wendy generally comes up with a couple questions, and we're allowed to input too, obviously.
Right.
And we just talk, and I think that's really nice. And then on days when we don't have anyone coming in, literally right before we go on, Wendy will ask, "Hey, so what should we talk about today?"
I want to bring up, because you said inspire, Jay, and I want to address that because in addition to tackling some tough subjects, it is also, I love that you highlight teens in Rochester. So we're talking about writers, poets, musicians, artists, activists, you name it. Why is it so important for teens to celebrate other teens?
Well, all we got. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I feel like we understand each other a bit more than, you know, our elders understand. And it's like, if you step back and understand, like we're going through the same thing. We're all in the same stages of life. We're transitioning to becoming adolescents. So if we can praise each other and we can, you know, regroup and understand that, you know, it's about that time. Yeah.
Right. We're going to close for there. I've loved having you on. We're out of time, unfortunately, but I'm grateful for your time today, and thank you for joining me. And I also want to thank your entire team for the topics that you are making sure get covered on the air. Yes. You can tune in live to Fresh Perspectives on Thursdays at 4 p.m., 104.3 FM. You can also check out previous episodes of the talk show. They are available online at wayofm.org.